So, our group decided to tackle on the topic of the impact of social media worldwide. And to start off, I'll be talking about the overview of the topic, which includes what it is, where it is, its definitions and its concepts, and basically historical background. And so, to start off, social media refers to digital platforms which allow users to create and share content with each other. These platforms include Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X/Twitter, and just to name a few. From being just simple tools to communicate with one another, social media has evolved into major infrastructures for information circulation, expression of culture, and even political mobilization. Uh, I'd say defining social media as a where it is, quote unquote, where it is almost impossible, as social media is a global phenomenon that we see everyone having some sort of um, social media platform installed on their phone. And every region almost around the world has high levels of usage, although these platforms do differ from country to country. Like, let's say the US they do use Instagram, TikTok, and X as social media platforms, while Latin American countries incorporate the use of WhatsApp, something that we don't really see here in the US. But this shows how, although not all countries use the same platforms, social media is present in almost all places around the world. This is an interesting discovery that I never knew about. But the very first social media platform wasn't exactly Facebook or even MySpace. It was actually a platform called 6 Degrees. It was launched in 1997, but didn't last long, and it was sold and later on shut down in 2001. This platform later on laid out the groundwork for MySpace in 2003 and Facebook in 2004. Since then, we've seen uprisings in social media with the emergence of YouTube, Twitter, now known as X, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Snapchat. Then later on, in the 2010s, smartphones started making an appearance, which expanded the access that people had to these social media platforms. It ended up expanding its global access. All in all, social media has been a powerful way to spread information and keep people connected with one another. Civil society, activists, and government have all used these platforms one way or another, as we could have seen in previous elections. And in this day and age, it has been used more than ever once again for these elections to get, like, let's say, propositions out there and certain things like that. And then our next part would be the argument and position and analysis.
For our argument slash position and analysis section of our script, we, oh wait, on the topic, the impact of social media worldwide, we wrote that social media is a significant aspect of global society as it is a global communication system that has both benefits and challenges. Because social media is the primary communication system of modern society, it promotes global unity, making its impact important. The impact of social media matters to businesses, governments, individuals, and civil society. Social media is extremely relevant to global citizenship as it is a way to efficiently unite people across the globe to take actions on concerns such as human rights. Um, Global interaction through social media demonstrates that we are all naturally social and capable of advocating for political action and humanitarian aid. What this tells us about the world is that it is one interconnected system. The fact that the effects are global, impacting world unity, and establishing a global communication system demonstrates how national boundaries are becoming even more weaker. All societies are impacted by current issues such as political movements, misinformation, and cultural trends, which comes to show how the world functions as a single interconnected system. The implications for global citizenship are a combination of power and fragility, because although it offers an opportunity for achievable global civic engagement, it also demands a significant amount of digital knowledge and also critical thinking from consumers in order to succeed in a world where technology determines the things we can't physically see. The rapid spread of false information and fake news that may threaten the unity of political communities makes this especially significant. Unchecked misinformation has the potential to possibly divide societies and destroy the trust required for effective global action. As a result, the individual consumer, so us, um, we have a need to do more than just participate. Um, we have a responsibility to validate information, make sure it's true, and avoid such negativity that social media systems usually generate. Accountability for worldwide effects of social media is shared between platform companies that create the technology, the governing bodies that control how it's used worldwide, and the individual consumers who decide how they engage with it. The reliability of a digital environment, the unity of their political communities, and their mental and social well-being are just a few ways that the entire population could be impacted by this issue. Thank you.
Media allows us to communicate with people worldwide. It allows us to share photos, videos, and different stories with family and friends, no matter where they live in the world. This can bring joy to people because they feel close to one another, and basically allows them to keep up with each other's social life or just life in general without being present in the life. Despite the good use of social media, it can lead to different downsides such as depression, because people see something on the internet, they just believe whatever they see, and they think that's what their life is really like, but in reality it's nothing like that. Just basically due to people believing whatever they see. Although there can be downsides, and when used properly, it can be a very useful tool to many. So my question, my part's the question. Basically, it's just, so how does social media affected politics today, and what are some pros and cons of social media worldwide? So the reason I said it like that is because social media can ruin someone's reputation. A political figure, for example, let's use Trump. On the BBC, they edited his January 6th speech to make it sound very bad. I use this example because it just happened that he's suing BBC for $10 billion. Or, for example, in general, political candidates, they will take clips from a certain speech they say, and then edit it together to make it sound like they're a terrible person. This happens for both sides, Republican and Democrats. But that was just the first one that came to mind because I saw it in the news recently. But yeah, I think social media is a very good tool when used properly, like I said. But if it's not used properly, it can be very dangerous in the world. But I think there's more upside to having social media than not having social media. Obviously, especially with AI coming out right now, it can be very dangerous. But I think at the end of the day, you have to research your own stuff, and can't believe whatever you see, and you got to have reliable sources that give you the right information. But I do believe social media is a very good tool, especially someone who's not from America, that's from the Philippines. It allows me to share what I'm doing in America while I have family that can see it in the Philippines or across the world. I have friends that live in Korea. I have friends that live in Europe. I have friends that live in Costa Rica. I can't see them often. I'll see them maybe once every couple of years, but we have social media to stay in contact with each other. So I do think having social media is very important, especially if you use it the right way. But basically, the question is, how has social media affected like politics, and like what are the pros and cons of social media worldwide is the end question that I have.